Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, today we're going to be talking about the one, the only beloved Zebec network. Now, listen, price has surged practically 20% over the last day or so. Right, we can see, boom, on Wednesday, these lows were nice here. And we can see at one point we've gone up upwards of 21%. So if we go even to the 4-hour chart, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. I guess a little bit more than a day, like more like a day and a half, right? We can see in a day and a half, we actually have gone up in price. We actually have also reclaimed certain territory, which we are going to be discussing because it could mean potential surges to the upside, potential continuation to the upside. We can see Bitcoin is at 111,000. So Bitcoin is just kind of doing its thing. When we look at Zebec, we can see we rank 138 out of 9,405 active cryptos. And you know me, I'd say this pretty much every video. And at one point, we're over 9,500 active cryptos. You see people, they come and go. They come and go. But Zebec is going to be here to stay, and Zebec is going to take over the world. We can see we're at 360 million market cap, 16 million volume. We can see when we go to the holders, right? We are almost at 87,000 holders. So, we still have a couple of hours until this day ends. I do believe by the end of today, we will hit 87,000 holders. And I'm super, super excited. I kind of expected this. Of course, we saw the trend earlier this week. We were getting lots and lots of holders. People were continuously buying into Zebec, even during the dips, right? Even when we did start to kind of go down, sideways, slow momentum, and we dipped. I know I've seen some people on Twitter say they bought the dip. And, shout out to you guys. Buying when others fear is always going to be your best move 99% of the time. The reason why I don't say it's 100%, because just in case there's some kind of missing context, okay? Just because, because that matters too. That matters too. You don't want to be buying the dip once the start of bear season comes, okay? But we're not even there. We're not even in bear season. We're not even in bear season. I know some people think we are, but we're really, really not. Anyways, we can see that over the last month, we are down just 2.33%. We were down a little bit more on average yesterday, but like I said, we are already recovering very, very nicely. Over the last week, we are down 2%. And over the last 24 hours, we're up almost 9%. So very, very nice, very, very solid recoveries, right? We started to see, like I said, a lot of recoveries over the last 36 hours mainly. And, things are looking good. Things are looking great. Sometimes people ask me about the volumes, guys. Mainly, we have a lot of volume for HTX, KuCoin, Gate, and OKX are like the main ones. Of course, DLMM adds a little bit more. Kraken adds a little bit more. BitGet adds a little bit more. Crypto.com adds a little bit more. But after that, it kind of starts to slow down a little bit. I mean, we can go to the next page, but we can see, yeah. I mean, $500. Does Bitmar even count? Like what? $500? No one's using Bitmar. Damn. LBank. Oh, Deepcoin and Digi. Oh man, these are actually pretty solid numbers. Pretty solid numbers. I won't even lie to you. But yeah, we are waiting for that Coinbase. We are waiting for that Binance, which we will have in the future, right? We saw the evidence for Kraken. We saw that, they were loading up on Zebec, and guess what? They got listed. Coinbase and Binance, they're doing the same thing. Guess what? They're going to get listed. Listen, we are going to be talking about the technical analysis right now. You can see over the last 3 weeks, we kind of have been selling off. But this week, there's actually been some type of pretty good solid rejection, right? There's been a pretty good solid rejection. And even if we close pretty bearish this week, like let's say we do end up being a closing candle, so it would look something like this, right? It would still be like a black closing candle. That's really, really good. That it would take 3 weeks of selling pressure to, have practically be the equivalent of one buying week. That means the buying candle is literally 3 times stronger, right? It is 3 times stronger. So that's what we love to see, buying pressure. I would not be surprised if we start to see that sooner than later. In terms of the monthly, right? We are kind of at a stalemate, like I said before. Why? Because we are between 2 very, very massive zones. Okay, we are between 2 very, very massive zones, and we are going to have to make a choice sooner than later. We still have some wiggle room, of course. We could still technically kind of wiggle upwards of the end of 2025, beginning of 2026, which is when I personally think Zebec is going to have its big breakthrough. That's just because a lot of times the yearly candles don't really flip the last second, right? Usually, if something has been already solid, it's going to end solid for the last 2 months. So, like, say something for Zbec, right? We might probably end like this, and then we might see continuation pumps very, very soon. You got to remember for most coins, right? For most coins, they have had a like red year. Like for example, Caspa, right? Caspa really mainly blew up in 2023. Then there was some, a little bit of momentum 2024, but it was kind of like a reversal candle. 2025 was a complete pullback, right? Complete pullback, actually, right to the yearly candle perfectly. And then I would expect 2026 to once again be a pushing candle. And I expect that for pretty much every single altcoin. That is why I do believe, altcoin season will be happening in 2026. I know that's an easy statement to make now, I guess, because we are 2 months away, and it's, if I'm wrong, I can always technically say, well, in 2027. No, but based off the candles, like I said, we have been on track for an altcoin season. We have been on track. It just everything take so damn long, but we're still on track for altcoin season. People think this crypto market's over. I mean, you guys can think whatever you want, but the data really does say otherwise. Look, all right, this is a very, very massive zone. I really doubt we will be ever breaking through it. The lowest I could probably see Zebec go to is this zone over here, mainly, right? Maybe right below the 0.0029, the 28, the 0.003. But other than that, we really should never go lower than that. We really, really shouldn't. And what I would really want to see next from Zebec is to start closing above these key points, right? Because even if we find momentum and we don't close above this key point over here of 0.0046947 practically, then, you know, it doesn't really matter because that means our swing points are still getting lower and lower continuously. Okay. So, we could see momentum, like I said, another couple of percent, another 22% to the upside. But if we do close below this daily candle right over here, then I do believe it is just because we are still going to continue to range. And at that point, I would still probably expect sells sooner than later for Zbec. But overall, in the short term, we should probably be seeing a little bit more green. Would not surprise me if we have a nice green weekly candle next week or near the start of November. But yeah, that is ultimately going to be it. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Right, we talked about not last time, but many weeks ago that, look, although we had a very close, very nice weekly candle here, this key point did close lower than this one and this one over here, right? Lower than this and lower than this. So the swing points never got expanded. Okay, the swing points never got expanded, which is a very, very important concept when it comes to seeing momentum to, go to the upside. But yeah, this is officially it. Love you guys so, so much, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.